stadium lights, the tribute buzz before halftime. My heart racing like it's 4th and 5 on a Midwest Saturday night.
Welcome back to Mizzou Storytellers. I am Dave Matter with Mizzou Athletics.
I'm Loretta Jones, also with Mizzou Athletics.
Hey, this is now 2 episodes, back-to-back weeks.
Correct.
It's been a while.
We're on a roll.
Since we've done that.
We're on a roll.
We are on a roll. We've got another great guest today. Hopefully, a great guest.
But I don't know why.
It's a great guest, but hopefully it's a great interview.
I don't know why it wouldn't be. We're here.
This is someone. Great point. This is someone I admittedly don't know a whole lot about. So I am very much looking forward to the conversation.
Yes, I am excited to hear more about this guest's just history and life. I know that it is very different than mine, so I'm pretty excited to hear about it.
But different how?
I'm going to leave you in suspense.
Yeah. No. What else is going on? We probably have a lot we need to get to in our
I've got my
third segment.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my half marathon coming up.
Oh, when's that?
The 26th of April. So it's
and that's in St. Louis?
It is in St. Louis. It's the Go St. Louis Marathon Half Marathon.
Is it downtown St. Louis?
Yes. Obviously it's through 13 miles.
That's a half marathon?
Yeah, 13.1. I think it goes through Soulard and downtown and lots of cool areas. I don't think it's nearly as hilly. I was looking up the start time, just like confirming everything. It starts 15 minutes earlier than Nashville did. So it starts at 7 instead of 7:15. But you get 30 minutes. Is it 30 minutes less? 45 minutes less to finish it in. It's like the Nashville one, you got 4 hours to finish the half. That was
what?
The cutoff.
They just close up shop and you just go.
They cut you off.
Oh, okay.
Like you get a DNF. Like you do not finish.
Oh.
And St. Louis, maybe it's 3.5, but 3:15 or 3.5. And I was like, holy jeez. Like, I mean, I will finish in that amount of time. I'm not worried. Something catastrophic would have to happen. But yeah, I'm hoping that means that the course is considerably easier.
Yeah. Like
a whole lot less hills.
Is it supposed to be hard though?
A half marathon?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're signing up for something hard.
Yeah,
but easy, everybody do it.
Exactly. Right. Are you going to put a 13.1 sticker on your car?
I haven't to date, and this is my third. Huh? So I said I haven't to date, and this is my third race that I'll be running.
Well, you could put 39.3 if you do after you do this one.
Look at you mathin'.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah. Well, you're so good with that arithmetic.
Yeah.
I will say that I was speaking with producer Steve. I was speaking with Dave and Michael the other day, talking about, I got to just pick out my race outfit. And we talked about making a Mizzou Storytellers podcast tank top.
Oh, yeah.
And I can just have a QR code on the back. And it'll just say, don't want to listen to yourself breathe? Listen to me. And then they can just scan the QR code.
Yeah. Have you followed up on that yet?
Not yet. I talked to Dave about it. So I've
Your
told
Dave?
my Dave.
Yeah.
I've talked to somebody outside of the athletics department. So to me, that's always
speaking it into existence.
Exactly. Because I feel like we have a lot of ideas around here that do not always come to fruition.
Yeah.
But once you take it to somebody outside of work.
Has your Dave caught up on episodes yet?
No. I know he hasn't listened to Kelly Harper yet.
My wife hasn't either, because she was like, we had to go to Jeff City the other night for one of our son Connor, which had a high school
track meet.
He had a high school track meet, and she's like, "Do you mind if I read my book while we drive?" I'm like, "Well, you could listen to the latest episode of Mizzou Storytellers." She's like, "No, I'm good." She's got another drive coming up. I think she's saving it for then. Yeah.
Well, once Dave found out, I shamed him into not listening to them. I said, we call you out on the podcast.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, okay. Well, then he was mowing the yard one day or doing something, and he was listening. He was doing some dishes. He's like, I'll listen to the podcast. I was like, okay. And he found me later that night and said, man, you guys really did call me out. I said, yeah, I wasn't lying. Of course. There's no reason you shouldn't be listening to these.
Of course. And that's what makes us one of the top 5 podcasts in Columbia. Some may disagree.
Yeah. It will make us one of the top 5 podcasts in Columbia.
It's always 2026. Okay, we have talked enough.
We should move on.
Let's meet our guest.
Tiger fans, say aloha to Hawaiian Bros. where the island-inspired flavors are positively delicious. You'll love favorites like Huli Huli Chicken, Luau Pig, and the delectable Dole Soft Serve. Hawaiian Bros, just south of campus on Grindstone Parkway, or order at hawaiianbros.com.
She's a 4-time All-American. She's a multi-time Hall of Famer. She's Mizzou Athletics' newest American citizen. She's the head women's golf coach at Mizzou, Caroline Westrup Gaeta, and she's today's guest on Mizzou Storytellers. Welcome to the podcast, Caroline.
Yes, and congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
That is awesome news. We want to talk about that. I got the Marcy sent a text out to our senior leadership group a couple weeks ago and said, congratulations ahead of your picture after you were officially sworn in. How does it work exactly?
Yeah.
Tell us the process of becoming an American citizen.
Well, I mean, it's been quite the journey. I got here in 2006, so for college. So I've been on one visa for students. I had 2 P1 visas. It's a professional visa when I played on tour. Then got my O1 visa when I worked at IMG Academy, and then I finally got my green card. And now after I've been married for 5 years, you're allowed to then apply for citizenship.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of documents, fingerprints and meetings and signing, a lot of paperwork. That's the number one thing. And then we filed last March to do it. And then you receive like first an interview that you have to go to, and you have to prepare for a couple different exams. Wow. So you have, it could be about 100 questions that you can get on this verbal exam, and it's pretty much anything U.S. history based in geography and, World War, presidents, and etc. So I had to study, and it was the first time I had done like an exam like this since college. So. Yeah. They're very intimidating, too, at this office when you walk in. So this is the first thing you do, and then they check, obviously, if you can talk English. And then you had to write something on an iPad that they told you to write to see that you can spell and you can, actually, just live in America, I guess, and get around. And then after that, then they approve you if you were able to get 60% on the exam, and then your oath ceremony paper got in the mail.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that learning how to spell is an American trait, but it should be.
I wonder if we all took that test right now, you would probably get the highest score in the room just because you've studied it more recently than the rest of us.
I tested my assistant coaches, and then also
Interesting.
Coach Milliken and Colin, and they did not know all the right answers.
Well, you have to think that, growing up in America, all of your history classes and social studies and geography, you learn in fragments. You learn about periods of history and periods of presidents and specific wars and parts of the country. And they're just like, here you go.
Learn it all at once.
Just know everything. We could ask about any of it.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yeah. So at least I got the 6 first questions right, so then I didn't have to answer anymore.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So
there you go.
What is the most random or interesting fact that you learned about America while studying?
I mean, there's a lot about the first states, the first 13 original that I actually did not know. Obviously, we do history too in Sweden, but a lot of the American presidents and about the Constitution and stuff like that, you don't know much about. So it was actually very interesting, and I think and a citizen should know,
Sure.
So I think, and the ceremony was very powerful, and you made to feel that this was something really, really cool and amazing, something that you had accomplished. So for me, it was nice to get to know more about the country that I'm now a citizen of. Yeah,
absolutely. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so are you now a dual citizen, or are you a
Yes.
tri-citizen? I know
Now
you...
dual.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you drop your Swedish citizenship?
Yes, so I'm not Swedish anymore. So Norwegian and American.
American. Okay.
That's fascinating. So we kind of buried the lead here and just talked
Right.
about how you jumped into getting your U.S. citizenship, but you were born in Sweden and then moved to Norway. And did you identify with both countries and cultures, or tell us how about your growing up and spending a lot of time in both of those countries?
Yes, the reason why we moved to Norway was because of my dad. So he got a different job in Norway, and I would say I'm always like identifying myself as Swedish. Like if Norway and Sweden would play each other in any sport, it's like proud Swedish. But then I moved back to Sweden to go to a high school again after by myself. But my parents and my sister still live in Norway. So like in 2015, we just decided as a family to become Norwegian citizens. But I still identify myself as Swedish. I speak more Swedish than I do Norwegian.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they very different languages? I have no idea.
I would say it's like kind of like Spanish and Portuguese. Like you have similarities, but then it's also very different at the same time.
Interesting.
So now, how do we okay, so you were born in Kristianstad?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you pronounce the name of the city that you moved to in Norway?
Bærum.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even know that character.
Yeah, there's an A and an E that sits together. It's
It's just A. So
Yeah.
just like, okay, just like an A.
Let's let Caroline handle that one.
Yeah. Sounds great.
So then growing up in, do we even call it Scandinavia? Is that still a thing? We call it those countries. So where did golf find your life, or where did you find golf?
My dad. So my dad was the Swedish national team coach.
Wow.
For Sweden for boys under 18 for 10 years. So I was very fortunate to have amazing players that I was around already at an early age. And Henrik Stenson was one of my babysitters. He was my favorite.
Oh my gosh.
I used to travel a lot with my dad. My dad took me everywhere to European championships at the age of 6 and would walk around and just watch golf with him all day. So that's pretty much, I was born on the golf course, I can almost say. And then the reason why we moved there to Norway is because he took over the entire federation. So he was the head of federation in Norway. Wow. So Susanne Patterson was someone he really took under him and really, really coached her. Mm-hmm. And she dedicates her career, like part of her career, to my dad.
Oh, wow. Obviously some great golfers from that part of the world, but one name jumps out is Annika Sorenstam. So did you just grow up idolizing her, or is that the natural person when you're from Sweden?
I would say so. I mean, she's a huge part when it comes to women's golf in Sweden, but also like she was there and present with the national team. Her and her coach would come to our practices and team practices, and that was a huge inspiration. And now, today, like I'm good friends with her and her sister. So that's really cool.
That's incredible.
And now I go to her tournaments and recruit at her tournaments.
There you go.
So,
There you go.
And she's always there.
Was there ever an option to play any other sports, or were you golf forever?
Oh no, I was in every sport possible. I think my dad he says now, I had a plan that I wanted you to be a golfer for sure, but he put me in all different sports that was beneficial for golf. So I did gymnastics for about 13 years.
Wow.
Did swimming, handball is a sport you guys don't have here, but I played that. And then I did tennis. I did karate. I did karate for 6 years, and that was like the mental and the, for golf as well, kind of background there. But yeah, just did a lot of different sports, but ended up golf.
I was gonna say then at what point was it, I'm just gonna stick with golf? This is where I see my future. This is where I see an opportunity. And when did you make that final switch?
I think I was about 12, 13 when I said, I want to turn professional, and this is what I want to do. But I did golf and gymnastics. In gymnastics, I quit when I was 14. So I still had that kind of as like a winter sport since like half the year we have, snow. But that was really good. It was good to get breaks as well. And I encourage all parents to not really specialize in any sport until you're about 14, 15. I think it's very good just overall to have another sport on the side.
At what point, and I remember we just had a similar conversation with Bianca when she was in here. She was obviously playing tennis overseas. What point did the decision become that you could play collegiately in the United States? Was that always kind of a dream, or just maybe an option? You want to play professionally before then, or how did that come into play?
since my dad, was the national team coach, he was able to go and visit players in college while he had that role. So he knew a lot and had visited a lot of colleges because of that. So that was something I had this kind of like this step ladder up. So I had, my goals was to be on the national team, and then after that play collegiate golf, and then play on the European tour, and then the biggest goal was to play on the LPGA tour. And that's something I had next to my nightstand that I looked at every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it's just like a list you wrote down, or was it in a frame, or?
It was in a frame. Yeah.
Wow.
Like a ladder up with different steps. And
that's
then,
so cool.
yeah.
And so then how did you decide on Florida State then? Was it Florida because it was Florida, or?
So a funny story, but no, Arizona State was a college that my dad had visited because there was Swedish players there. So that was a college that I said, that's where I'm going. He brought home some of Sun Devil gears and all that. So we already had that, me and my sister. So I went and visited, and I actually verbally committed there.
Okay.
And was like, yeah, this is where I'm going to go. But then Jonas Blixt, he's from Sweden as well, player on the PGA Tour right now. He was at Florida State, and ran into him that summer. I had committed in April, and he said, why have you not looked at like Florida State? And I said, well, they're not ranked very high. Haven't heard much from the coach. And then he said, well, I know they want you. Like, you should come and take a look. Yeah, maybe the team is not really good right now, but you can be really good there. So I said, okay. I had one more visit. So I took my 5th visit and in October. And then I got back home, and because I went on my own, and I told my dad I don't know what to do anymore. We did a plus and a minus list. It was just 2 completely different visits.
Yeah.
At Florida State, I just felt at home right away. Even if I had never met the coaches before, I just felt like, and the team as well. And I just saw myself, I'm going to be here for 4 years. Originally, I was thinking maybe 2 or 4, but I'm going to have a better culture here, in my opinion. Like, I felt like the Arizona State was great, but I felt the team didn't welcome me as well as they did at Florida State. So I ended up, going there, signed in November, the month after.
Wow.
That's such a crazy time already, and to think that you thought you had it all figured out. I've made a decision. Do you still keep in touch with him? Like, was he still playing there?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
he was a senior when I was a freshman.
Okay.
And then, we still keep in touch. So he just had his first child as well. So,
wow.
yeah. And then obviously I got great people coming in. I had Brooks Koepka there for...
I was going to ask if he was there at the same time.
Yeah, for 2 out of my 4 years. Daniel Berger also came in right after. So same thing on the ladies team, some really good players, and till this day, it's a very good program.
Moving from Europe and then coming over to the United States, and just immediately your first experiences in college, was there a culture shock for you? Was it a big adjustment, or did you pretty smooth transition for you?
I would say, yes, because everybody's so nice here. But you had to figure out who was nice and actually meant it, or was nice and didn't mean it. Because in America, that's one thing we always joke about. It's like, when you say hi to someone, they always say, hey, how are you? But do they actually mean, how are you? Or is that just a phrase? Because in Sweden, you don't really, it's way more stale, I would say. Like, you don't really, go in a grocery store and start a random conversation with someone. Like, kind of people are more reserved and, the kind of stuff like that. So, and then everything was so big here. In the grocery store, you have gallon of milk instead of a liter of milk, and chips bags being this big versus this portions. Yeah. Everything was just big. So I think that, not saying that was like weird, but it was different. So it took a little time. And then the language as well. I definitely spoke English, but it was more like I had to think about it a little bit before I said anything. So like my freshman year, I think I was a little more reserved. Then when I then started speaking better
Sure.
English, I became more myself. So my teammates always said, "You're a different person from your freshman year."
Did you have to take an English class? Didn't Bianca have to
Yes.
take an English course at
Yeah.
University of Texas?
She had to take some ESL classes.
Yeah.
Yes, I had to do that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It only gets more confusing the longer you're here, too.
Yeah.
So,
My question always is, I had some teammates, some international teammates as well when I was playing, and they said that the big switch for them was when they found that they started dreaming in English. Do you remember when that happened for you? Like when you would start to think about things in English or maybe have a dream in English and you had to think about how to say something in Swedish?
Yes, I mean, I still dream in Swedish though, and I still
Yeah.
count and think in Swedish from time to time. It kind of depends where I'm at. On the golf course, it's all Swedish for some reason.
Really?
Like when I'm counting and trying to do the math and stuff like that, that's in all Swedish. But my parents usually tell me, like when I have a conversation with them, and there's a word that I can't remember, and it's like more English than Swedish, and they're like, "You don't even know your native language anymore." So that's kind of funny. But I mean, I do speak way more English than I do Swedish. So
But now, so you said you spoke some Norwegian, not as much as Swedish. And I know your husband, I'm skipping ahead, your husband and his family, they speak Spanish
yes, and English.
and
yeah.
English. And so are your kids like quadrilingual? Do you speak all of the languages at home?
No, I mean, we speak mostly English, but I do speak Swedish with them. And then my husband's parents speak Spanish with them when they have them and they're there. So they definitely hear
I love
a lot
that
of
so
different
much.
things. Yeah.
Gosh, we're still figuring out English in my house.
I have to tell my kids not to use double negatives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's
And
impressive.
Norwegian, I don't speak much of. It's more when, like now when I called my parents on the way here and they had our neighbors over for dinner, and then, I switched to Norwegian. Or when I was home this Christmas and saw some friends, then, yeah, I speak Norwegian. But that's definitely not my number one language. That's probably the third language.
That fascinates me that you can just so easily switch. Like, oh, different group of people. I need to speak a different language. I think that's so cool.
Your college playing career was awesome. Obviously, what did you take away from that experience? Yeah, I think you were 4-time All-American. You won a bunch of individual titles. What that experience for you? What did that mean to you?
It was an amazing 4 years, I would say so. And I don't know, like just how I felt in college. I just felt like I could win every single tournament. I went into every tournament knowing that I can win. So I think my mental game was very, very strong. And I will say that's, beneficial from my dad, what he has been teaching me and put me in different situations throughout like college, but then also like amateur golf. I've been fortunate to be put in situations where I've had to go out and for Sweden and play, a playoff to win the European Championship and stuff like that. So like just been able to overcome different things, and then I think was one of my really big advantages in college, that I just felt like I can go and win every single tournament, even if I knew I was 3 shots behind going into the back 9. I knew I could do it. So I think that was my strongest part. And then also obviously practice a lot. Try to tell the team all the time, like I was out on the golf course until 6 p.m. every day until it got dark. And then I went home and I did my homework. But that's what I felt like was the best part of college, was just being out. And then obviously having great teammates to practice with all the time. I had matches against Brooks and Jonas all the time. So that was 4 amazing years. Yeah.
That's great.
This episode of Mizzou Storytellers on the Inside Mizzou Athletics podcast is brought to you by Sophia's and Addison's Restaurants. Sophia's and Addison's Restaurants are great local spots to visit before or after all Mizzou home games. Addison's has 2 locations in Southwest and downtown Columbia and features over 20 beers on tap, including local brewers and, of course, their famous Nachos Bianco. So remember, before or after the game, stop by Addison's.
So then that transition from your collegiate career when you turned professional, what was your biggest challenge moving into that next phase? You obviously had the work ethic and you have the confidence from your performance in college. well, now you don't have the homework anymore. You don't have the tests. And I would imagine it's a slightly different experience. You don't have teammates per se. You don't have these people that you're necessarily working with all the time. What was the biggest challenge for you? How did you adjust to that professional career?
So I had a little bit of a hiccup there in my senior year. My spring semester, right before graduation, I got mono. And I had it for almost a year. Wow. Lost almost 30 pounds and lost myself completely.
Yeah.
So going into my professional career, thinking that I could win every single tournament to couldn't even get out of bed for 6 months almost. That made that professional turning professional very hard. So I think it took about 3 years before I felt like myself again.
Wow.
So that was a tough time in my life, knowing everything that you had worked for and all the confidence that I had built up to almost not feel like I knew how to swing a golf club.
Wow.
So I sat out almost that entire spring semester. They cleared me for regionals, but I was not healthy at all. I remember I played 9 holes and I felt like I didn't know what to do with I didn't even remember my back nine my first day. Wow. I 4-putted from 3 feet because I couldn't even feel the putting, my hands or anything. So that was a really rough time, but same thing there. Had great people around me that helped me rebuild myself. But yeah, and then obviously not having your teammates anymore, you are now your own manager of yourself and booking everything and planning everything out. So the organization skills and everything that I learned in college, time management, stuff like that, that definitely helped me a lot. And then, yeah, then I started to you know that you have to make the cut to make money as well. So I think that was a big factor too. That was very different from playing collegiate golf. And then that everybody on tour is so good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, so it took, like I said, a little time. So after my first year playing professionally, I decided I wanted to go home and do the European tour. And my dad was on the bag, and that was an awesome day when I got my tour card there after battling with the mono there. And so that was awesome. Played on the European tour. Got to travel a lot over. It's called the European tour, but you go to Morocco, you go to India and Dubai and Australia and New Zealand. So that was really cool experience. And then I did that for a couple of years, and then I said, okay, now I feel like I'm ready. I built up myself to go back and play LPGA Q School. And my sister was caddying for me, and that was a big day. I still get goosebumps when I talk about it because that was something that I had dreamt about since, I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I shot 67 the final round of, and that's a long, for people that don't know what Q School is, it's a qualifying stage. It's 3 different stages that you go through with 5 rounds every time.
Wow.
So this was in December. It starts in August already. That's the first stage. Second stage is in October. And then final that you have to advance to is, and then it's only 25 people that finally get your full tour card.
Yeah.
So I refreshed the leaderboard. I knew I had to play good the last day. And I refreshed the leaderboard and I just broke into tears with my sister because, like I said, that was something I had dreamt about for a very long time. So that was a dream come true.
Yeah.
How fun to be able to do it with your sister.
Yes.
So did she move over here for that time?
So she was in college during that time.
Oh, okay.
She played college golf as well at Arkansas Little Rock.
Okay.
So she was pretty much done with school then. For that December, she was done with finals week, and then so she came down to Florida and caddied for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go back to when you had the illness. Was there ever a thought, hey, I've given it my all, I just can't come back anymore? Did you think about quitting the sport, or was it you still had that list on your nightstand that you had to keep chasing that no matter what the obstacles were?
Yeah, I don't think it was ever such time as giving up. I don't think that's in my nature.
Yeah.
I like to give up on anything, but it was definitely hard. I was definitely questioning if I could play professional golf. And I was doing this all by myself because my parents were home.
Yeah.
And And like you said, now you're on your own. You're not on a college team anymore. So just same thing there. I think because of my mental toughness that I had early on helped me go through that.
Sure.
Because I could see it. That would have been a very easy way to just say, like, I don't think that I'm going to do it.
That must have, excuse me, that must have, when you qualified then, must have it meant so much more than because of what you'd gone through and how long did you go without playing?
So I was diagnosed in about February, and then so I didn't play until regionals, which was in May.
Yeah.
And I had not really touched much golf clubs in between there, and then went and played there. But then same thing again. So what happened was they first treated me as like strep throat for it, and I broke out in a huge rash. And that's apparently what you do when you have mono. So same thing again after I played regionals. This was like in July again. My throat hurt, and they treated me for strep throat, and then broke out in a rash again. So they were like, yeah, your mono is still there. And now I'm about to go to Q school in a month. Knowing also that I had to get some type of tour card for be able to stay in America.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That pressure too.
because of your visa. So LPGA Q school was different than what is now the Epson Tour. So they were two divided. They were not joint
Okay.
at the time. So I played LPGA Q school, I played 2 rounds and couldn't do it. And then it was then called Duramid Futures Tour. That was not until November. So I played in that one too, and then I made that tour card, which is now the Epson Tour. So played there for a year, and then the following year I went and did the European Q School.
Man, what a journey. I mean, it really
I
is. Like, it took
know.
a lot to get there. Yeah. And when you qualified then or get the card, was it just based on basically one round, one hole you had to get there? When you knew in the moment that you made it?
The LPGA one?
Yeah.
I did not know. I just knew that I think I was 2 or 3 shots out,
Okay.
final round, and I knew that I had to play really well. Birdied my final hole, and I think it was within 1 or 2 shots as well.
Wow.
I mean, it's very tight there. And yeah, shot 5 under.
That's
final round.
incredible.
That's awesome.
That's
what
like
pressure
so much
you were
pressure,
under. And,
even outside of golf. Like
Yeah.
it's just so much.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So
67.
So please explain for our listeners who may not be as familiar, or some hosts that are not as familiar with the tour. So now you have your LPGA, you have your tour card. What do you need to do to maintain it then?
So, that was in 2014, and was in the rookie class with Lydia Ko. So, pretty cool rookie class.
Yeah.
It was hard to be rookie of the year, that's
Yeah.
for sure. But so then you play for a full year, right? And then you have your money list or ranking that you want to say. So usually top 100 will keep their card for the next year.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you don't, then you go back again.
yeah.
So then you go back to Q school?
It's
That has
not
to be
easy.
just an exhausting
It's fun.
journey for
It's
some
funny
people.
you like say that because like I remember like, you know, my friends from college who played basketball and football get drafted, and you know, they're like, you don't automatically like get money. I was like, no, I have to play good to get the money, and I have to pay to play in the tournament.
That's crazy talk.
And I still pay, you know, to get around too, to get to every tournament and stay in hotels or whatever. And they're like, wow, like, because, you know, they sign their contract, and obviously you have to earn some of the money, but most of it is guaranteed when you sign. So they thought that was just bonkers.
Yes. I would also have thought that was crazy.
a little different in your sport. Sure,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Yeah.
All right.
So at what point then do you make the decision that coaching is in your future? How
Right.
did you, it's one thing just to play the sport, but to be able to coach it, want to coach it's obviously a different step.
I think that was something I had. I've always been told my dad, like, have an A and a B plan. And so I already knew that I wanted to get into coaching eventually, just because I've seen what my dad has been able to do for other people and how he has impacted them. And I love the sport so much as well that I want to kind of, like, what you want to say, like, give back to the sport, but then also be able to motivate the younger generation, ladies that are up and coming, and prepare them for the next step in their career. So like they can call me one day and like, oh, what you said there, like I remember that, and that's really been sticking with me, and just stuff like that. And that's really heartwarming for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
And how did you get your start at IMG? How did that work out? Where were you? That's in Florida, correct?
Yes.
And then you're working with some pretty high level young golfers, I assume, that can have the opportunity to play there.
Yes. So I decided to get into the coaching. So I ended my playing career because I hit into a root and fractured my wrist.
Really?
One shot that then, needed surgery and sitting out and whatnot. And then I got back for one more year to play, but golf just was not fun anymore. So that's when I knew, like, my grandma said, everything happens for a reason, Caroline. And at the time, I was like, thanks, Grandma.
Be quiet, Grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's so right. She was really right. So I went home. That was in 2018. And I went home and did substitute teaching first at my mom's school for 6th graders, and did that for 12 weeks while I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I interviewed for a couple different things first, like at Florida State, working with fundraising and boosters and stuff like that. But then one of my friends who was a swimming and diving athlete at Florida State worked at IMG, and she said, we're looking for golf coaches.
Wow.
So I got in contact with the director and came down there and interviewed with him. And then that December, he called me and said I got the job, and they were going to do the visa for me, because that was also something, like, I never thought I was going to be teaching golf, because that's what you do at IMG. So I did interview as well for other college position jobs, but unfortunately at the time, like, H-1B visas was not something a golf coach really could do. So, like, university said, you got the job, but unfortunately we can't do the visa for you. So this was a different aspect, because IMG is a private company. So that's where I got my O1 visa. So
Okay.
so I was there for 3 years, worked with some great athletes, and also they also have beginners there that come in. So
Okay.
a little bit of variety, but awesome. Was really able to work with some awesome swing coaches. And like I said, I knew my swing well and could, coach myself, but teaching was very different, that I had no experience of, and going and helping. And so I had two amazing swing coaches that I worked closely with, and they really helped me. And then I got my green card after that 3 years, and then I said to my husband, okay, I want to get into the college coaching. And IMG has helped me a lot as well for what I do now, because I can really help the ladies on the team. They all have their swing coach, but I can sit in on their lessons and whatnot and kind of be the mirror for them, since I see them every single day, and especially in tournament play. So that was very helpful. And then interviewed with a couple different universities. I almost felt like I was recruited again.
Really?
So I had offers from 3 different schools: Wisconsin, Georgia, and Louisville. And Georgia was good just because my husband was able to keep his job at the time. So he's in agriculture, so he could keep the same job as he was doing. So that was like the main part of it. And got to Georgia, and then was there for a year.
Yeah.
And then ended up here.
Get
So-
the chance here.
Where in that journey did you and Yvonne meet? Tell us a little bit more about that, how you guys met, and then tell us a little bit about your family.
Yeah, so like I said, and my grandma said, everything happens for a reason, because I did move down there to IMG, didn't know one single person, and I joined a gym. CrossFit gym was something that I've always kind of been interested doing, because I know it's competitive, and like, since that was something that was part of me, was being competitive. So I joined the gym because it's a lot about the community as well, to get to know people. And I think it was one of the first weeks I saw Yvonne in a class before me, and I was very impressed with the weights that he was doing. And I was just looking at it. He's a former wrestler, And I was like, whoa, okay, I don't know if I want to, like, I can't be in that class. I don't want to compete with that. But after that, we just kind of started talking, and then the gym owner on Saturdays was like partner workouts. So he's like, Yvonne and Caroline, you two pair up today. And I was like, super nervous because I was like, I'm sorry if I'm gonna like drag you down, like, or I'm not gonna be able to keep up with you. And he was very good gentleman, and made me feel like I was doing really well.
I'm sure you were actually doing really well. Yeah.
So then after that, like after a couple of times, we decided to go to the same classes, and then we went to First Watch, was our first date after a workout. So I figured, if someone likes me when I'm about to die, looking like I'm about to die, he must be a pretty good guy. No, and then he loved playing golf as well, so we played a lot of golf together, and he was actually the one that got me back into loving golf again
Really?
after being injured. So during, COVID there, we would play with other people from the gym every weekend. So that was awesome. And yeah, it was... Yeah, that's
history.
pretty much how we met, and then
So where did you guys get married? Where was the wedding?
So it was in Sarasota,
Okay.
with first just close friends because it was during kind of like the COVID area, but then we got married in Sweden as well in front of my family and close friends in a church that my uncle is a bishop, and the church itself is 900 years old.
Wow.
And we were able to baptize Philippa and Alexander there as well. So all on the same day.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
those are your two little boys.
And,
Right.
boy and girl.
Boy and girl, that's
Yeah.
right. And how old are they now?
4.5 and 2.5.
Gosh, I mean, you were pregnant when I met you.
Yep.
At your press conference, I remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's so crazy.
No, it goes very fast. I can't believe that she's almost fully potty trained.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Listen. We obviously this is important to me as well. We talked to Coach Harper recently about being a mom and being a coach and the challenges that come with that balance. How have you been able to find that? How have you been able to kind of navigate becoming a professional coach with being a mom and still spending time with your family?
Yeah, no, you right on there. It's definitely not easy, but I always say thank God for FaceTime. So I always make sure that I FaceTime them every day so they get to see me. But yeah, it is hard when they say, when is Mama coming home? And then you're like, a couple days, I'm coming home soon, And then Alexander goes, in 2 days? So we kind of counted down so they know when I'm coming home. And then also when I am home, I try to be very, very present and when I'm home, I'm putting my phone away to make sure that I'm fully there with them and make sure I really prioritize them as well when I'm home.
When you got the call to interview here for a head coaching job, did you know in your heart at that point you're ready to be a head coach, or you're still just, hey, I'm gonna take a shot here and see if
I definitely thought I was not ready because I had only been an assistant for a year.
Yeah.
But also I was not going to say no, absolutely not, because I was like, this is a great opportunity for me to go through the process of how an interview process will look like to become a head coach. And, I feel like a lot of people, you need to prepare, you need to, study or prepare your interviews. And I just felt like, no, I'm going to go in. I feel like I already have a pretty good idea of how I would run a program, something that I've thought of before. So I came in, I think, pretty confident of how I wanted this program to be. And I think that's how I was seen. I wasn't nervous. And, but I was I didn't think I said oh, I'm getting this, I knew the candidates that were up against me and they had way more experience than I did. So I was like, I don't know, but I felt like I did a good interview. So that's what I pretty much told my husband. And then Desiree called me 2 days after and offered me the job. And Yvonne was actually on the road. So I was by myself with Alexander. And I was like, yeah, no, I mean, but I do have to check with my double check with my husband. He's coming home tomorrow. Can I call tomorrow morning? And she's like, okay. And then I called Yvonne. He's like, yeah, absolutely. We need to take this. Absolutely. I fully support you. And that's something that I will forever be thankful for him, because he took up and actually just had to quit his job down there for us to move up here, and fully supported the move. And so that's if I didn't have him and support me, it would have been way much harder.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But there was no such thing, any doubt. It was absolutely, a yes. I loved everything around here, because obviously that was something like I'm not just moving myself, I'm
Right.
moving my family. So seeing, us living here and having our kids grow up here was important. And it was the people. Same thing here, kind of as I felt when I did my recruiting visit to Florida State. I think that makes the place even better when you have great people
Yeah.
around you.
I mean, Dave asked about the culture shock from, Sweden and Norway to Florida. What was the culture shock from Sweden and Norway to Florida to Columbia, Missouri?
Same thing here. I think people are even more nicer here.
Right. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. I mean, my daughter decided to come on the day we closed on our house. We thought we were smart that we were going to close on it early, and then she decided to come 10 days early, and people from the athletic department came and helped us move.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, just looking at the schedule, postseason's almost here, which is kind of crazy. Just talk a
Yeah.
little bit about this team you put together and just how the season's gone and how the ladies are playing right now.
I think this season overall has been really, really good. We've seen a lot of improvement. Obviously, it takes a little time to just rebuild your own program, and especially with the culture, and having the right people there has been my number one thing. And I feel like we do. Everybody has bought in, and we're finally now. We're still been a couple tournaments here and there where it's like, golf, you actually have to put 3 good rounds together, and you need to do that to be able to win a tournament. And I think we've had 2 out of 3 almost every single tournament where, like now, for example, we got back yesterday at Georgia's tournament, and we finished 3rd and beat 2 really good SEC schools, which was good, and then just 2 shots behind Georgia. So we were almost there, and we still didn't have our second round was what kind of dragged us down. And we know that we can compete against top 25 teams in the country, and I think the ladies seeing that and just starting to believe that we can actually do this. So that's Fionn has had an amazing season, her senior season now, and finished top 15 in every tournament except for our first one that she played in. I think she was 21 at that one. So her being a leader on the team and has really stepped up this semester or this entire year. So that's we're really pumped to go into SEC next week.
I wanted to ask you, went back to Tallahassee a couple of weeks ago. What was that like going back to Florida State but taking your team there where you starred for 4 years?
That was awesome. Driving and showed them where I used to live and our stadium, because I'm still very, very proud of at Florida State. I will always be that, and to show them, and then all the people that were there when I was there was still there. Same SID event people coming up and like asking the girls, "Oh, how's your coach?" I felt like they were like, "Oh, wow." Like they knew that I was a good player, but then they got to see like everything in our clubhouse with my names on it and stuff like that. They were like, "Oh, we're going, like you're on every single plaque in there and your picture is up there." And so that was really cool to be able to show them,
Like a proud parent,
Yeah.
like your
Sure.
kids never believe that you're as good as you really were.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
back in my day.
Yeah.
I told you guys. That's great.
No, so that was awesome. Yeah.
All right. Diving in?
I think so.
Okay. Caroline, we go into some rapid fire questions here. Just 5 easy questions.
Okay.
Don't give it a lot of thought. What comes to mind? How do you want to do these?
Can I ask one to start it off?
Of
Even
course.
if I steal one.
Does this count?
So 6 questions.
Okay, 6.
All right. We'll start off while these 2 knuckleheads are over here figuring out what they're going to do.
Okay.
This might be kind of hard to answer. You go to your golf bag. What is your favorite club?
Driver.
Perfect. Me too.
How do you know that wasn't one of our questions? It
I had
almost
no idea.
was.
I just took a shot in the dark.
wasn't.
It wasn't.
Okay.
Told you. There we go. All right.
Okay. We're gonna carry on now. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. What is your favorite meal in Colombia? Not necessarily favorite restaurant, but if you're gonna go to and have one meal somewhere, what is it?
I love Gina Juice.
Okay.
What do
and
you
what
get?
do you get there?
Sushi, H&M roll, and Moderated Dragon.
Okay. See, that's what we're talking about. Rapid fire,
know.
quick answer.
You know what's funny is
Direct.
I'm going to take this away from rapid fire now though. The HM roll, you know that was made for Gary Pinkel.
Yep.
Yeah.
High maintenance.
High maintenance.
Wow.
She said that he was always so specific with what he wanted, and he was so picky that she made him his favorite roll and named it after him.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I love that you also know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
All right. Best advice that you have ever been given.
I would say carpe diem. That's usually what I live by. I have a necklace that said carpe diem on it. Like, you're never getting the day back, so make sure that you live it to the fullest.
That's awesome. Okay. What's a bucket list vacation spot?
I would say Maldives.
Oh.
Okay. With or without your kids?
I would say with.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good answer.
The best course that you've ever played?
I have to go with St. Andrews.
Ooh.
Yeah.
When did you get to play there?
I
tournament?
got to play a couple tournaments there. So they have something called Sangarul Trophy every year in June, and I actually Fionn and Fleur got to play it last year, and it's such a cool event. You get a practice round first on St. Andrews Old Course and the new course, and then you play 18 hole on new course and 36 holes on Old Course.
Wow, that's great.
That's very cool.
Okay. If you could play 18 holes with anyone in the world, alive or dead, anyone, who would it be?
I would say my dad first. I would love to play with Tiger Woods.
Okay.
Victor Hovland is a good friend of mine, so I think that would be a really cool foursome.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I should have said foursome. That's the way to,
Oh,
that's the way to
yeah.
ask. Yeah.
And so sweet that she said her dad first.
Maybe I should do fivesome. I'll put Suzanne Pedersen in there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Five. We'll allow it. We'll allow it.
You can play fivesome at Old Hawthorne.
Would you? And this is not a question, but just one I thought of. Like, are you, when you get out there, are you still super competitive?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Is it hard because I guess after you had the injury, I assume you're not the player you were when you were at your peak, but the competitive juices are still there. So how do you kind of balance that?
I know that is one thing that's hard, like accepting that, like, because now I don't really get to practice anything. But it's fun. A lot of times when I go and teach with the girls and go and, coach them around, and then I'll pull out the shot or make the putt. They're like, oh, how is this breaking? And I just go up and make the putt. That's what's fun, and they get
That's
to see
how it's
that.
breaking.
Yeah. And go out to play with them. I've done that a couple of times now too. And yeah, like you said, it's like, it's not the same old Caroline shots that I used to hit, but I think I know my game so well, so I can still beat them.
Yeah. That's great.
Who's the better golfer, you or your dad?
Me.
There you go. Good answer. All right. Go ahead and pass these
Okay,
down.
yep.
Okay. The final step here, ritual, is you got to put your photo up on the wall.
Oh, nice.
You get a choice. Found a couple. It's quite a process here.
know, it's a whole thing.
Make sure you show both
You
of
have
them
to
to the
show
camera
both
too.
to your camera.
Okay. I got this one and this one. So I'll go with this one.
Okay.
Take a spot.
Here we got some. Now, this thing is very shaky and delicate.
You gonna cover up Glenn?
I'll do like right in between. Well, then you can't see the
No, it's okay. It's okay. We have to reorganize these.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, now you're official.
He's a person that I think has the same mindset as I have.
Coach Smith?
No, Keegan.
Oh, Keegan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been able
He's a
to
competitor.
do a couple of lessons with him. He loves golf.
Really?
Yeah, so I got to pick his brain too.
Is he good?
Yeah, he's pretty decent. Yeah, he
Is he?
loves it too, though. I think it's very calming.
I think it's like the
Interesting.
exact opposite.
It is
of his
exact
sport.
opposite for
Yep.
me because I'm not very good and I just get frustrated. Yeah.
I am awful. My entire family golfs except me. It was never my thing.
Yeah.
I'm an action indoor sport kind of girl.
Well, maybe we need a lesson.
I probably do. My dad is very patient and he's tried to teach me. And it's just,
Well.
yeah.
You have a professional right here.
It takes a lot.
mean, she's
know
busy,
It does
but-
take a lot of time. That's the only hard part about golf.
Yeah.
Like
It's
I,
the consistency.
Yeah.
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 Well, Caroline, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah. thanks
Best of
for
luck
joining
at Big
us.
12s. No, this is Big 12s. What am I
Big
doing?
12.
Oh,
Why did I say that? SEC championships.
We were just talking about wrestling.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, I
probably
know.
why.
That's, I looked
Next
again.
episode, we'll talk about the Y2K
We can
phenomenon.
we can edit that out.
sure we can. Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah.
sure. Get started next Monday. You're in Bel Air, Florida.
Yes.
Okay. Well, best of luck.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Rooting for
thanks
the
for
Tigers from
joining us in the 24 hours that you're back in Missouri.
No, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Our pleasure.
This episode of Mizzou Storytellers on the Inside Mizzou Athletics podcast is brought to you by Shelter Insurance. Ranked number 1 in customer satisfaction for auto insurance in the Central Region by J.D. Power 5 out of the last 6 years. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Man, Caroline, what a gal.
Caroline Westrup Gaeta.
Gaeta?
Don't forget the last name she's added. Her husband's last name, I should say.
Yes. I am still just amazed. Like, how do you even begin to study for that?
For the test?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it could be any part of American history. Like, be ready.
Yeah. That's very impressive.
Well,
oh.
if you would like to prepare for it, I have pulled up the civics, history, and government questions for the naturalization test
Oh.
by the
Oh,
U.S.
Producer
Citizenship
Steve.
and Immigration Services. So, if you are up for it, would you
I'm a
like
little
to
scared.
take a stab at some of the questions?
Is there spelling on there? Because that part I'd be
Are
really
they
good at.
multiple choice?
It's not really multiple choice. They just give the answers. So I'm gonna try to
Okay.
I'll pick a couple that are
Okay.
a few of them that aren't too crazy.
Okay.
All right. Who wrote the Declaration of Independence?
Thomas Jefferson.
That is the correct answer. Very good. All right.
Did you know when you're waiting for me to answer?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Between the two of you, I would like to see if you guys can do this. There were 13 original states.
Colonies?
It says states on this.
Okay, I guess, yeah.
Because now they are states.
Yeah.
It says name 3, but I believe in you two.
Okay.
Can we do all 13?
I think so.
All right.
Pennsylvania, Virginia,
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts,
Slow down.
Connecticut,
All correct so far.
New Hampshire? Was that it? Delaware?
that-
Delaware.
Delaware.
New Hampshire and Delaware. Yes.
Okay.
How many are we at?
6.
Maryland?
That seems a little
Maryland is one.
Oh.
South Carolina?
South Carolina.
Oh.
Because they succeeded first.
Succeeded or
Succeeded, sorry.
They won.
They also succeeded. They did not succeed in the women's championship game. I'll say that much. Yeah. No, it's not.
Well, so then was there North Carolina at that point?
Yes, there was. Correct.
Okay. So we're at 10,
9.
9.
Dude.
Sorry. New York?
New York.
Okay. So then New Jersey?
New Jersey.
That's 11.
Yep.
Maine?
No.
Oh. Why'd they leave Maine out?
Vermont.
I think you said Vermont.
No, I said
There's
Virginia.
no Vermont.
But it's not there.
There's 2 more.
Yeah.
Are they more inland?
One is on the coast. One might actually be the toughest one to think about.
Washington, D.C.
That's not a state.
That's not a state.
I know. I'm like, that would have been tough to think of because it's not right.
All right. One of them is 2 words in the state. 2 words is the state name.
We did both of the news.
Starts with an R.
Rhode Island.
Boom. Last one.
Loretta was going to say New Mexico, and I knew that wasn't right.
Last one. I'll give you a hint. It's also the name of an SEC school.
So it is an SEC school?
Yes.
Georgia?
Georgia. Boom. Good job.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I realized that.
All right. Last one. Then we'll move on.
Then what was like with a
Actually, a 2-parter. Okay. What year was the Declaration of Independence adopted?
I've actually been to Philadelphia. I've
think you
seen all
have
the
to
things.
go there to know
No, but I'm
this.
like I've seen all the things.
Did you seen the
I've-
Nicolas Cage movie?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's a holiday dedicated for it.
July 4th.
1776 is.
Boom. Got it.
I
All
just
right.
figured that
Now,
was too easy.
The toughest one. When was the Constitution written?
After.
It was definitely after. What about the year?
I'm gonna
18 something?
18.
No,
I don't
not
know.
18.
82. 1782.
1787.
Okay.
1787.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Hey, I think you guys passed.
No, I'm so
Good
used
job.
to watching Wheel of Fortune with my son, with Roger, and I am not allowed to guess the puzzle until
Oh.
he has had a chance to guess the puzzle.
Okay. So that's
And like,
so I was Roger in this one.
well, but like if I immediately knew the answer, that's why I was like, I was waiting for you. Yeah, it's really funny because then if he'll say the answer and I'll be like, good job, buddy, he'll be like, you didn't know that. Okay.
You didn't know Thomas Jefferson wrote the. Okay. That's good. I thought they'd be. Honestly, I thought it'd be a little harder.
You only had to name 3 of the original 13
that's
states?
What it said,
Okay.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Do they
don't know.
get
This is just-
progressively
this is a-
harder? The questions.
yeah, some of that stuff.
hope so.
don't. I mean, gosh.
Wow.
I mean, every American would have to study hard for that test.
Yeah, I would definitely have to study. I'd have
Yeah.
to brush up.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I mean, everything
as
we
we should.
learned was, colonization to this date. And then it was, the Civil War to this date. And that's how we learned history. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't usually remember everything every chunk of the way.
Yeah. Well. Is that on? Is it the whole thing? Can you take how many questions? What'd she say? How many questions did she have to get right?
6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Because she said once she got the first 6 right, she knew she could miss the next 4.
But there's a bunch of like practice exams and like study guides and stuff like that. So
I think I'm actually just still more intrigued by the fact that she had to transcribe something that was being said so that they could see
yeah.
if she could spell it.
Do you think you would do better if you took that whole test or the driving test, like the written driving test?
The written driving test?
Yeah.
Absolutely the written driving test.
You do better.
Yeah.
You know all that stuff.
Yes.
Like which way to put
Do
your
I practice
wheels-
it? No.
Which way to put your wheels? What do all the signs mean?
Like, yeah, like if there's a curb and there's no curb and
yeah.
yeah.
Our kids are taking because they're getting close to 16, so I'm thinking about it. I'm really conscious now of how I drive when they're in the car because I'm like I don't want them to like pick up on my bad habits. So it's a little different than driving around little kids where you just like whatever you're along for the ride.
I don't know. My kids are very like, Mom, put both hands on the wheel.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't. Okay.
Do you get in
You know
trouble
what?
for
I'm not gonna
looking-
argue you.
Do you get in trouble for looking at your phone? I do.
Yes, absolutely.
that just
Absolutely.
got passed too. So it's
Yeah.
definitely
But my
against
kids are
the
old
law
enough now that usually what I'm doing on the phone, to be honest, is like switching a song because
Oh.
there's never like a text message that's that important for me. Like while I'm doing it, and my kids are old enough now that I will give them the phone to DJ.
Oh,
I often regret
give
that.
me aux.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
We only play this podcast in my car, so there's no options. Listen to Dad on the podcast.
exclusively. I always
Have you
joke.
heard
with,
the Josh Moore episode? Come on.
I always joke with my kids. I always close my right eye and act like I'm asleep.
Oh, that's hilarious. Explain that one to the
Very bad thing to
EMS.
do. I love that.
Peel you off of a semi.
I got the left eye open. I got an eye on the road still. Like let's not get twisted.
Oh, well, that's good. We could pass the test. What else is going on?
We'll start with some positives.
Okay.
Gymnastics.
Oh, that was awesome.
Oh, that was so cool. I'm so pumped.
Did you watch it live Sunday?
No,
I was a
did not.
nervous wreck
I
when
was
they went on the
too.
beam. Oh my gosh.
I got to watch like a little bit of it live,
Yeah.
and like the timing of it, I had to get home because we had something going on
Right.
at home. So then I had to then watch the recap later.
Oh, well, it wasn't it nerve wracking?
It was extremely nerve wracking.
It was. This is what I tried to compare it to. After our first gymnast stumbled a little bit, so there's no margin for error for the
Yeah,
others.
every score.
It was like watching 5 straight game-winning field goals
Yeah,
because it's like it's all or nothing.
it was.
And they were so poised, much more than I was, sitting on the couch covering my eyes. But I mean,
It was
was
like
awesome.
hard to watch.
I got to watch Vault.
but it was
That
really
was
good.
yeah.
that was pretty cool.
But to end on the beam where there's just zero margin for error.
Yeah.
What is that thing? 4 inches across.
Yep.
And then it ends with Helen, so you know, like, okay, we're in good shape now. She's
Yep.
gonna blow this thing up, and it was great. But did you notice? So on the split screen, the TV announcers definitely knew that we had scored enough to outscore Auburn.
Correct.
the Auburn gymnasts seemed to know, but our gymnast had no idea.
Yeah, I know.
So Amari Celestine, she interns in the athletics department, and she came in. She was in incredibly early Monday morning, so props to her. She was in sooner than some of our full-time staffers. But anyway, we asked her, like, how did you guys not know? Like, everybody watching knew, and they had no scores up on the boards. Maybe it was intentional so they don't get distracted by it. So that was real. They had no idea. They were confident, I think, but they had no idea if they won or not. So that's why they had such an awesome reaction.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
How about that? I can't remember her name. Is it Bowers?
Oh, yeah. For Oklahoma.
She only missed like a 100th of a point.
Yeah.
Like she had 3 perfect 10s. What?
Pretty good. Yeah. It was
that's
something
exciting.
to watch. So best of luck to
Elite
them.
8. That's great.
Elite 8. They go out to Fort Worth and they compete Thursday with a chance to make it to the championship round on Saturday in Fort Worth, Texas.
Man, that'd be so cool. Well, and props to Coach Welker and to Amari
Yep.
for getting regional awards. Shannon was named South Central Regional Coach of the Year, and Amari was Regional Co-Gymnast of the Year.
Yes, awesome. On top of Coach being SEC Coach of the Year, too.
Yeah.
So he's had just an incredible year. That program's, just doing great things right now. Fun to watch, for sure.
And we were discussing beforehand. I know we spoke last time about the Zoo to You tour, but we
Yep.
didn't have the dates yet.
We didn't have the dates, or at least we hadn't announced them yet, but we do know the dates now. They're coming up. The first leg, we can announce those. So April 22nd in Kansas City.
Correct.
That's a Tuesday. Am
Correct.
I correct?
Yep.
Okay. At Chicken and Pickle.
I feel like I'm quizzing you. You're looking at me like, are these right?
I know,
Are these
because
right?
I'm saying them out. I'm not reading them. I'm actually doing it from memory. And then a week later, April 29th, also a Tuesday, we're on the other side of the state at the Chicken and Pickle there in St. Charles, right there at the river. Yeah, so we had incredible crowds last year, and we'll do it again this year. I know Laird will be out there, and our head coaches will be out there. Coach Drinkwitz, Coach Gates. I'm sure Coach Smith will be at one of them. Coach Harper's going to be out there, coming off of her incredible debut on Mizzou Storytellers.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have student athletes out there, Truman. Yeah, it's going to be a great time.
Well, now I'm testing myself. The Springfield and Dallas are the
May
same day.
8th.
May 8th. That's a Wednesday. Yes.
Yes. So that's Springfield in the morning or morning afternoon.
Lunch in Springfield and
Lunch in Springfield.
dinner in Dallas.
Yeah.
Grapevine.
So I assume there's a plane involved?
Yes. Yes.
Because I was hoping somebody didn't think that was a mistake, that we listed
we,
2 on the same day.
We did that 2 years ago. We did
Oh,
lunch in Springfield and then dinner in Dallas.
Oh, I wasn't here yet. So I was just a
So there
lowly
were
old
the people
sports
that went
writer.
to both of those were definitely on a plane. The rest of us just went on a plane down to Dallas, and we were just in Dallas.
Okay. And then we're going to announce another leg, which is going to be literally a bus tour.
Yes.
Going around, I believe, down southeast, and make our way southwest and hit a lot of different towns with some great Mizzou fans and visit with them. And it's going to be a real caravan.
Yeah, like 3 days of stops with a bus and everybody enjoying each other's company. It reminds me of when they did the Road Rules on MTV.
Oh, yeah.
Theo Vaughn? Yeah. Are you going on the bus tour?
I don't know. TBD.
I don't either.
I don't feel like I will make the cut, and you know what? If
There's
I
a
don't,
cut?
that's okay.
There's a
I
cut?
mean,
is it announced like Hunger Games or something?
I mean, the bus only fits so many people. It's a
Take
cage
more
match.
than one bus. We should do a podcast from the bus tour.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, we should. And if we don't make the bus cut, we'll
do our own.
We'll take our own car.
Take our show on the road.
Yes. The 3 of us just set
I
up in
just
the back of a
imagine-
windowless van.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. There's no seats in the back. I'm in the back, like falling around while Dave's driving and Loretta's driving.
Well,
and it's
David,
like,
we couldn't
hold
drive.
still!
We couldn't drive. We'd be doing the podcast live from the back of the van.
Oh, we could do it while someone's driving.
Oh, that's
as long
true.
as One-Eyed Steve's not driving and trying to convince us we're going to crash.
Oh, I'm asleep.
It's only for a split second. It's only for a split second. I'm not endangering the lives of my children.
This could be a lot of fun.
It's a good laugh.
Oh,
though.
this is. I kind of want this to happen now.
The shelter insurance, Mizzou Storytellers traveling show. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Let's go
Okay.
on tour. Yeah.
can't wait.
Let's do it.
We get maybe we can pick up Roman at one of the stops, and he can.
Let's go.
Yeah, he's been on some tour buses before.
Yep.
You bring the party.
That's right.
He would. If the budget's low, we don't need food. We just need beer.
It was his story, not ours.
That's what I'm saying.
There's
I know,
protein
just
in that.
reminding our
It'll be all
listeners.
right. Anheuser-Busch, shout out. There you go.
Well, there you go. We know all the sponsors. It's awesome.
All right. Today
Now
was
we
the-
just have to tell our families we're going to be gone for a couple days.
Dave would ask me which kid I'm going to take with me.
Ugh.
I know exactly which one it would be too, but I'm not going to say it out
Yeah.
loud. Which kid would you take if you had to take
Of yours or mine?
yours?
That's a good question. I'd have to think about it. It depends on like how much they're going to miss. You know, they would be like, "Oh, I got this, I get that, I get this."
Well, I think it's after school's out, isn't it? Well,
Not for
no,
overnight.
not for us. I guess it's after college is out.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Okay. All right, we'll
Think
pick our
about it.
favorite kids the next episode.
Speaking of amazing podcasts, did you have some news you're going to share?
I did. Okay, so the gym that I go to, I absolutely love. Row Engine Room, amazing. Laura Kitsey, vote for her for Best of Columbia. I went to go do that because I'm in full support
You went to go vote?
for
The contest.
like
yeah.
this Best of Columbia
Oh, yeah,
contest, right?
Right.
And I'm clicking through, and I was like, oh, let me click through and find other things. And I see that there's a category called Best Local Podcast.
Oh, awesome.
I was very
Drum roll.
I was very excited
Yeah.
till I saw that we weren't on there.
Oh, not even nominated?
Not even nominated. And there were 5 nominees.
Really?
And I don't think there's that many local podcasts, guys.
There are 5 Columbia podcasts. better
Local
than
Columbia
us?
podcasts that are considered to be the best of.
Oh man.
So this is my request to our millions of listeners. Please nominate us next year.
Yeah.
There's no write-in choice. I already looked. I was seeing if there was a write-in option. I was going to
Oh.
campaign.
The campaign starts today.
Yes,
did
but the
just have
campaign
an
starts today for
election.
2026.
Okay. Do we want to read off the other nominees, or would that be unfair?
Nope, I don't think we should.
Okay. Have they had Kelly Harper on yet? Any of those?
Doubtful.
Yeah.
Doubtful.
Have they had Caroline Westrup Gaeta on?
Absolutely not. We are the first podcast to have Caroline Westrup Gaeta on.
She might have been on with Brad and
but not as
Matt.
Caroline Westrup Gaeta.
That's true, because not since she's got her U.S.
Are
citizenship.
you going to be okay?
I'm good. I'm good.
Producer Steve's losing it over
Breaking
there. Is
ground.
it Friday yet?
No,
It
but
is
it
in my
feels like
head.
Is it Thursday?
I think this is what happens to us when we do late afternoon
I've had
podcast
4
recordings.
cups of coffee today too, so that's part of it.
Is that coffee? I thought that was water.
No, it was coffee. I finished it.
It's awfully late.
It
You
is.
go to bed?
I'm supposed to. My New Year's resolution was to stop drinking coffee in the afternoon, and I am violating it big time.
For the first time?
Just staring it down. in
No,
the face
but
saying,
it's
nope.
getting worse. And then I wonder why I can't fall asleep at night.
Okay.
Actually, I fall asleep really easily. That's not. That's
Do you? Like, what time, though?
well, I can fall asleep anywhere,
I
but
didn't
it's
ask where. I asked what time.
would I actually go to bed though?
Yeah.
Like so this is embarrassing, but so my kids are in sports at Rockbridge after school, and I have to go pick them up, and they both end at like kind of in the same window, but sometimes not. And I'll sit in the parking lot and just wait for them, and they routinely knock on the window, and I'm asleep. The car's not running or anything, but I'm usually reading or
Does that scare the living
listening to a
daylights out of you?
It does. I'm like, why am I sitting why am I in a high school parking lot? And then they laugh and they're like, you fell asleep. I'm like, I know. I've been waiting for a while. You just never know how late lacrosse practice is going to go.
Okay, so on a normal night, if you were to get to go home from work, be a normal human being, eat dinner, chill, what time would you go to bed?
I shoot for 10.
Okay.
Yeah. And
How often do you
sometimes
miss?
it's 9:30. I am usually like ready to go to sleep by 10:30, which
so
is
late.
incredibly early for me for my first 45 years of my life. Yeah. I used to be a night owl, like big time, especially when I worked as a reporter.
Mm-hmm.
I'd stay up and write during the night after the kids went to bed, but the older I got, the just harder that is. And I get up really early too, so
That's been a struggle for us as the kids get older and they go to bed later.
yeah.
It's almost like I like Benjamin Buttoned or something. Like it's like they're getting older, they stay up later, and
Yeah.
I'm getting older and I want to go to bed earlier.
It's hard. The weekends, my kids will want to watch a movie or something. I'm like, well, we better start it before the sun goes down, otherwise I'm out.
We start watching movies during dinner. Like we will like post up in the living room on the weekends and like eat while watching the movie.
Yeah.
So I can guarantee that I will make it through.
Yeah. What time are you asleep?
In a perfect world, 9 o'clock.
Oh, that's yeah.
Absolutely. Like the kids, I'm usually like getting ready for bed while the kids are getting ready for bed, so I can say goodnight to all of them and then go straight to my bedroom.
Yeah, that's early for me.
Yeah, it's mostly, especially the mornings that I work out the next morning. I absolutely want to be in bed by 9.
What time's the alarm go off?
4:47.
I'm 4:45. I'm not topping you. I'm just saying. Also early, but I don't get up there.
Why? What?
I'm just
not
saying.
topping you, but
No, I'm just saying. I've tried to get
I
up
will
early.
sleep for 2 more hours after you guys.
Yeah. Well.
when I don't work out, I will sleep for 2 more
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah. Boy, we are off the rails here. What else
That's
do we
right.
have?
I don't
Zoo
think we
to
need
you
anything
tour
else. We've
dates,
already established that Dave
gymnastics.
is cooler than me in yet another aspect of life.
It's nothing cooler about getting up early. It's a struggle. Best of Columbia
Yep.
podcast list.
Oh, you had some big news that you shared with me earlier,
I did not. What?
because I think I've lived under a rock all day
What?
today.
Oh, yes. We officially announced
Yes.
our football opener has changed dates to Thursday again, 4th year in a row. It's just becoming our tradition now.
It's awesome. I love that
Yep.
tradition.
So August 28th will be our opener this year. It was scheduled for Saturday the 30th, but we love moving this. I know Coach Drink really loves moving it. We sold it out last year, and no reason we can't do it again. So Central Arkansas is our opponent, and
6:30 p.m.
you know, great way to kick off Labor Day weekend with having the
Absolutely.
game on Thursday instead of waiting until Saturday when, you know, folks are making their Labor Day plans.
It is nice, yeah, because it's you still get that long weekend, and as employees, selfishly, it's really nice.
Yep,
Like,
yep.
You get, especially this year when we
Especially
have
with 6 games in 7 weeks.
correct.
Oh, gosh. Let's not
Yes.
go there yet.
So
So the 28th, that's a Thursday.
It
You know what
is.
the 26th is?
Is that a birthday?
No?
That's my birthday.
Hey.
Birthday week. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Not now, then, obviously.
yeah,
Yeah.
I got that.
Yep. Yep. Exciting.
All right, well, we'll have to celebrate
I'm gonna
after
be-
a big
I'm gonna be
Tigers dub.
33. Yeah.
Again?
Again. Yep.
Good for
For
you.
this 14th year in a
33
row.
again.
That
There we
that math's not mathing when you said the first 45 years of your life you stayed up late.
That's true. Yeah. I think. Do you when people ask you how old you are, do you pause because you can't remember? I'm at that age.
No, for some reason 42 has just been stuck in my head. Like that's not been a tough one to remember. I feel like most of my late 30s, that's how I was though.
Because even right now, I'm thinking about it. I think 46. Wait, yeah.
I assume when you said the first 45 years.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
46. Then I have to do the math sometimes.
Is there a math portion of the citizenship exam? Because
What is
think
46
so.
in Swedish?
we totally should have asked.
I was going to ask her what's skibbity in Swedish.
Oh gosh. Is that a
What
thing?
like what's Swedish slang for kids nowadays?
I was trying to think of questions about Sweden, and I was coming up with like what Swedish meatballs, like Swedish chef, like things that aren't
IKEA.
real.
Yes.
IKEA.
Well, IKEA's real, and so
I
are
know,
Swedish
but
meatballs.
it's like there's so much more to that. I mean, there's got to be more than that for what's important.
Really
about
good golfers?
Sweden, apparently, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just such a cool story. I mean, as somebody who's lived her entire life in Missouri, all the places
me
she's
too.
seen
Yeah,
and
I've not-
lived, and
Just think of her kids like Spanish, Norwegian, Swedish, English, like all the different languages and stuff.
And
like
it's just-
that
it is, and it's
float in
this-
that house.
the switch that you
Incredible.
can just flip.
Yeah.
Like her kids understand all of those languages.
Yeah, that's amazing. I don't know this. Are there more IKEAs in Sweden? Are they just everywhere?
I don't know.
Is it like their Walmart?
I don't know. These would have been great questions for the person.
I
from
felt
Sweden.
like it would be in something, a little
What?
bit like
Well, I guess
patronizing
in
a little bit.
context, yes. IKEA stores.
I don't know if we need to look it up on the podcast because
We'll report back.
our best Mizzou memories have yet to happen. Certainly weren't this show, but this is Mizzou Storytellers,
I'm Loretta Jones.
and I'm Dave Matter.
We'll see you next week.